John Elliot. In this indictment, you are charged on one count with an offence of arson contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1 and Subsection 3 of the Criminal Damage Act 1971. The particulars of that offence being that you, on the 10th day of December 1982, without lawful excuse, destroyed by fire a factory belonging to Arnold Jackson, intending to destroy such property or being reckless as to whether such property would be destroyed. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
The case you're about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. Arnold Jackson is Elliot's former employer. The prosecuting counsel has told the jury that she intends to bring evidence that John Elliot set fire to the factory as an act of revenge for being sacked.
What time do you estimate the fire would have been started?
Station Officer Saxby was on duty at the local fire station on the night of December the 10th. He has given evidence to say that the fire was started deliberately.
So I would say about 9:30. If we give a margin of error of a quarter of an hour each way, that makes it that the fire started between 9:15 and 9:45.
Thank you. Could we have Exhibit 4, please? Have you seen this object before?
Yes.
Could you tell the jury what it is?
A lady's gold bracelet. It has been damaged.
How was the damage caused?
It's fire damage. You can see how it's discoloured.
And where was the bracelet found?
It was recovered from the site of the fire, very near to where the fire was started.
Mr. Saxby, the defense has agreed your evidence that the fire that destroyed Fairyland was started deliberately.
Thank you.
Therefore, I have only one question to put to you.
Yes.
From your observations, is there any evidence to establish which person, which man, or come to that, woman, started the fire?
No.
I see. So it would be true to say, would it not, that the fire was started by a human being?
Yes.
Can you say with any certainty who that human being might be?
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saxby.
Mr. Jackson, I believe you are the owner of the Fairyland Fun Factory?
I was.
Yes, of course, was. Mr. Jackson, do you recognize the defendant?
I most certainly do.
Would you be so kind as to tell the court how you come to know him?
He worked for me. I employed him in the packing shop.
Has he been in your employ recently?
No, I got rid of him. I made him redundant about 3 months before the fire.
Why did you do that?
Oh, he was more trouble than he was worth, really. And there'd been complaints from the other men.
What was Elliot's work record like before he came to you?
Miss Stacey, may I ask a question?
Your Honour?
Is this absolutely relevant to your case? We seem to be rather a distance away from the events we're here to consider.
With respect, Your Honour, it is important to my case to establish what the relationship between my witness and the defendant was previous to the fire.
I can see that, yes, but previous employment.
If Your Honour will bear with me, I think we need to know what sort of employee Mr. Elliot was capable of being so we can get a rounded picture.
Yes, Mr. Benjamin.
As a matter of fact, Your Honor, the defense does not object to this line of questioning.
Oh.
Indeed, it doesn't seem possible to pursue the case without, at some point, referring to my client's mental state.
Oh. Well, in that case, you better carry on, Mrs. Stacey.
Thank you, Your Honour. Now, Mr. Jackson, if we may return to Mr. Elliot's work record.
What work record?
Will you answer the question, please?
That's the point, Your Honor. I can't. He didn't have one.
Do you mean that Mr. Elliot had never worked before he came to you?
That's right. No one else had been daft enough to take him on, but I was. I say experience is the best teacher.
And why would no one employ him, Mr. Jackson?
Well, because of his mentalness. He was in and out of institutions, you know.
Mr. Elliot had a history of mental illness?
That's right. So he had no references, no previous experience. I'd be a fool to take him on.
Nonetheless, you did.
No fool like an old fool. I felt sorry for him.
You took him on as an act of kindness.
Yeah, I suppose you could look at it like that.
And did you come to regret this act?
But it just didn't work out, did it?
In what way didn't it work out?
He was a troublemaker. You see, we're a small firm, family firm. Everybody knew everybody else. We were all on first name terms. I mean, those people, they were more like friends than employees. It's like that when you've built something up together.
This goodwill was important to you.
Oh, yes. Toy making is a competitive business. The market is very fickle. Well, you know what kids are. So if we had a rush on, it was important that everybody pulled together. We worked on goodwill rather than rules.
And what effect did John Elliot have on that?
Oh. Trouble on the shop floor from the minute he arrived. I tried to overlook it at first, but when it came to blows, I had to get rid of him. I had no option.
Yes, under the circumstances, you had no option. Now, how did Mr. Elliot take it when you asked him to leave?
Well, he went mad, didn't he? Quite mad.
He didn't take it well.
You could say that again. What a fuss.
He made a fuss?
Yeah, well, I suppose you could say he went hysterical, really. I mean, in the end, I had to get one of my men to throw him out.
You had to have him escorted out?
Yes, well, I had no option, really. I mean, I have a business to run. You can't have people carrying on like that when you're trying to run a business.
I'm sure the court will understand that, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, you can't be too soft if you want to run a business.
Mr. Jackson, when Mr. Elliot was being escorted out, did he say anything, anything that you particularly remember, anything that you think might be relevant now?
Yes, he did.
I wonder if you would tell the court what that was?
He said, "I'll destroy you as you've destroyed me."
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Now then, that was 3 months before the fire. Was that the last time you saw Mr. Elliot?
I'm afraid not, more's the pity.
Have you seen Elliot at your works since the day that you dismissed him?
Yes, I have.
What was he doing there?
Well, at first he came back every day, every single day, first thing in the morning. Whenever I got there he'd be, waiting. He stood outside the gate so I couldn't get in.
Did he speak?
No, he just stared at me, and then he'd chase after the car, waving his fists.
How did this affect you?
It got on my nerves. Got so I dreaded turning that corner and seeing him there. I'd get into the office in such a state I wouldn't be able to do anything. It was affecting my work. I mean, it was harassment and intimidation.
What did you do to protect yourself?
In the end, I had to set some of my men at the gate to stop him getting in. I gave orders that I didn't want him on the premises, but he just didn't seem to learn, didn't seem to get the message. And more than once it came to a fight. My men had to strong-arm him to stop him coming in. I mean, it just doesn't do. You know, fights at the gate when you're trying to run a business. Well, I mean, it's very unbusinesslike, to say the least.
Yes, I'm sure the court will understand that, Mr. Jackson.
It was as if he had no sense whatsoever. I mean, chasing after the car, shouting, I ask you.
What did he shout about?
Oh, things like, "I'll get you and I'll show you." And more than once he picked up stones off the path and threw them after the car.
How did you stop Elliot pestering you?
I said I'd fetch the police, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that at all.
Did he go away again?
For a while?
Did you ever see him outside your factory again?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
The night it happened.
The night of the fire?
Yeah.
Could you give me a time?
9 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, 9 o'clock at night.
Where did you see him?
Or just standing around outside like he always used to.
Did he approach you in any way?
No, that's what was so odd. That was different, you see. I should have realized there was something going on, but you just don't think, do you?
What was different?
Well, usually he just stared at me, or like I said, chased after the car.
And on this occasion, did he do that?
No, he did something worse, didn't he? He burnt the place down.
Mr. Jackson, members of the jury, please disregard that last remark. It has not yet been proven that John Elliot burned down your factory. That is not for you to say. It is a question for the jury, these 12 good people, to decide when and only when they have heard all the evidence. And unless and until they do, we presume his innocence.
I'm sorry.
I know you're upset, but do please be careful. Yes, Mrs. Stacey.
What did he do?
Well, he went off round the corner, didn't he, with his tail between his legs, keeping out of the way.
And was it your impression that he was trying to hide?
Definitely, yes. Must have been a bit of a shock to him. I suppose he wouldn't have expected to find anybody there at that hour of the night.
No. I believe that your business was badly damaged, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, ruined. Ruined.
You have suffered a considerable loss.
Yes, everything gone. Offices, the works. A lot of stock. We were doing so well. It was a tragedy, really, a tragedy.
Yes, Mr. Jackson.
I began it myself from nothing, you see. Started at the bottom, just myself and the wife, doing a bit of packing and assembling at home. And built it up with hard work.
So, if somebody wanted to get you where it hurts, that would have been the way to go about it, would it not?
Your
Yes, he got that right. Whoever did it. Mightn't have got anything else right, but he got that one right. You got to hand him that. He's finished me.
TV lawyers.
Now then, Mr. Jackson, you say that you employed Mr. Elliot for 11 months, is it?
Yes.
What was his behavior like at the beginning of that time as an employee, as it were on the, would it be assembly line?
Not exactly. We're not that big.
Well, shop floor then. What I'm trying to establish is, was his behavior as an employee difficult from the start, or did it get difficult?
Oh, no, there's trouble on the shop floor from the minute he arrived. I like to run a happy ship. A tight ship, but a happy ship. He had no idea at all about fitting in.
Really, Mr. Jackson?
No, like I said, he just mucked about.
Right from the start?
Yes.
Why did you put up with it for so long then?
What?
11 months, I think you said. Quite a long time on a tight ship. Just about the length of time you could keep him without it being unfair dismissal.
Your Honor, I can't see that that arises in any way from the evidence.
I agree. Please disregard that last remark.
Mr. Jackson, why did you keep Mr. Elliot for 11 months if his work was unsatisfactory?
Because I felt sorry for him, I said. I wanted to give him a proper chance. I've known what it's like to be down myself, you know. I haven't always been successful.
Mr.
I don't
Jackson.
come from the top drawer, you see. I've known what it's like to be out of work and not to have the money to go anywhere. That's why I took him on.
You said your business was doing well.
Yes, it was booming.
Indeed, Mr. Jackson, I believe you said that your premises were full of stock.
That's right. Thousands of pounds worth.
Excuse me a moment. Will members of the public please be quiet? If you want to talk, do so outside this courtroom. We must have silence while the witnesses are giving evidence.
Why, if business was so booming, was so much stock still on the premises and not out in the shops?
Yes, well, we had a few delivery problems.
Now then, Mr. Jackson, you knew of Mr. Elliot's history of mental illness before you took him on, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell your staff?
No, I didn't. It's not the sort of thing you want to spread around, is it?
Why not? Mightn't that have made things a great deal easier for Mr. Elliot if somebody had understood something about his difficulties?
Look, I did what I thought was best. You have to be careful with people like that, you know. They're not like the rest of us.
I see. In what way are they not like the rest of us?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They're, well, a bit unstable. I mean, they wouldn't be mental otherwise, would they?
You found Mr. Elliot unstable, did you?
Yes, I should say so.
Vulnerable?
Yeah, anyone could take him for a ride.
Or make him into a scapegoat, maybe?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. I wonder if the witness could see Exhibit 4. Do you recognize this, Mr. Jackson?
I should say so. Belongs to my daughter. I gave it to her myself for her 18th.
When was the last time you saw it in your daughter's possession?
A couple of weeks before the fire.
And have you seen it since?
No.
You're sure of that?
Of course I'm sure.
Did you not receive it in the post a few days before the fire?
No.
Please remember that you are under oath. Evidence will be introduced that the bracelet was sent to you through the post a few days before the fire. I put it to you, Mr. Jackson, that on the night of the fire, that bracelet was in your possession.
I never saw it again after Jennifer lost it.
Lost it?
Gave it to him. As good as lost, wasn't it?
That's how it seemed to you.
Yes.
And you never saw it again.
No.
Well, In that case, the jury will have to make up their own minds about that. Now then, one final point. You said you saw Mr. Elliot on the night of the fire.
I did.
Outside your factory?
That's right.
Did you see him for long?
No, not very long. He ran off round the corner, like I said, when he saw me.
Yes. What was he wearing?
Red coat's the one he always wears, the one he's wearing now.
Yes. Do you know what kind of street lamps there are outside your factory?
Yes, those modern ones. They replaced them not so long ago.
Sodium lighting?
I think that's what they call it, yes.
You do know, don't you, Mr. Jackson, that sodium lights drain the color out of anything red?
Do they?
Yes. So, in that light, the light outside your factory, Mr. Elliot's red jacket, the jacket by which you identified him, would have shown up as simply gray.
Mr. Jackson, will you remind the court how long you have known the defendant?
Over a year.
And in that time you saw him frequently, did you not?
Day in, day out.
So, when you saw him scurry away on the day of the fire, did you only recognize him by his jacket, or were there other criteria?
It was his hair, the way he walks, that's the sort of thing you mean? Anyway, I mean, you just recognize somebody, don't you?
You do indeed, Mr. Jackson. You do indeed. Miss Jackson, I believe your father was the owner of the Fairyland Fun Factory.
Yes.
Did you work for him?
In the vacations. I'm a student at the Polytechnic.
Keeping it in the family, eh?
Well, my father doesn't believe in people being idle.
Yes. Now, whilst you were working for your father, did you get to know this young man?
Yes, I did.
Would you tell us a bit about it?
Well, what do you want to know?
I think it would be helpful if you were to give the jury some idea of the nature of that relationship. How well did you know him, for example?
Well, not at all to start with, of course.
That's quite all right. Do go on, Miss Jackson.
You see, I was working in the office and he was in the packing factory. Well, one day there was a rush on and a couple of people had just left, so I went down to help. I often did that. I often filled in like that when people left suddenly.
Yes, tell the jury, Miss Jackson.
Well, we got talking. I liked him. I felt sorry for him, I suppose.
You felt sorry for him, is that all?
Well, what do you mean?
Or were you attracted to him?
Depends what you mean by attracted.
Well, did you form a permanent relationship? I mean, what was the exact nature of the relationship between you?
Well, we were just good friends. We used to sit together at the tea breaks. We had a lot of things in common. We were interested in a lot of the same sort of things, pictures, music. Only he hadn't had much of a cultural education. He'd been in the bottom stream at school because he'd not been very happy. He'd not got on very well.
I don't think we need go into all that, Miss Jackson.
How did your relationship with Mr. Elliot proceed?
I took him to an exhibition at college. It was like a new world to him, so then we started going to art galleries.
Would it be fair to describe from your point of view your relationship as that of teacher and pupil?
Yes, I suppose so.
Do you know how Mr. Elliot saw the relationship?
Yes, I think so.
Was it in the same light?
No, he wanted more.
What happened?
He asked me to marry him.
I beg your pardon.
Could you speak up, Miss Jackson? We all need to hear.
He asked me to marry him.
And how did you respond, Miss Jackson?
Well, that wasn't where it was at all. I mean, we were good friends, but... Well, I was the first girl he'd ever known, you see. He'd lived such a sheltered life, he thought it was like a fairy tale. You got to know a girl, you got married and lived happily ever after. He just wasn't very in touch with reality.
And did you refuse his offer?
Yes, of course.
How did he take your refusal?
Well, not very well, I'm afraid. I mean, he was hurt. He got angry and he hit me.
Did he hurt you?
Yes, he did. I was bruised and he gave me a Chinese burn. Chinese torture, children call it.
Was that the end of the relationship, Miss Jackson?
Well, no.
Why was that?
Well, he begged me to go on seeing him.
Why did you agree?
Felt sorry for him. Well, he was so emotional. He was like a child.
How long did the second phase of the relationship last?
Only a few weeks.
Why was that?
It was never the same. He was never the same. He used to tease me.
How did he tease?
He used to threaten me.
How?
Well, he used to go on about how he was bigger than me and stronger. It wasn't so much what he said, it was how he said it. It was as if once he'd found out he could frighten me, after he'd seen me cry, he was sort of gloating. As if he was trying to prove he was more powerful or something.
I see. Was it your choice to break off the relationship?
Yes. That's why I gave him my bracelet.
Is this the bracelet?
Yes.
When did you last see it?
That night. The night I said goodbye to John.
Could you tell us what happened to your bracelet?
I gave it to John. I gave it to Mr. Elliot.
Why did you do that?
Well, he asked for something to remember me by. I used to wear it all the time. He liked beautiful things. And often, when we'd been going around together, I'd given it him to wear, to look at, to play with.
And have you seen it since?
No.
So the last time you saw it, it was in the possession of Mr. Elliot?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Jackson. And was that the last time you saw Mr. Elliot?
Yes.
Did you ever hear from him again?
He wrote me a letter.
We have this in evidence, Your Honour. May we call it Exhibit 5?
Very well. Are there copies for members of the jury?
Is that the letter?
Yes.
Would you read the marked passage aloud, please?
Would you like a glass of water?
No, I'm all right, thank you. It's not very long. You Jacksons are all the same. I thought you were different. What a fool. You're hard-hearted and cruel, both of you. You think you can push people around like we're toys. I hate him, and you too. I know he put you up to it, but I'll show you that you can't push me around.
Is it signed?
Well, it's not very clear.
Rather illegible. What we might call an angry scribble?
Your Honor, I object to my learned friend's comment.
I agree. Please disregard that.
Despite the difficulty in reading the signature, did you know who the letter was from?
Oh, yes, I recognise the handwriting. It was from John.
Mr. Elliot.
Yes.
How did you react when you received the letter?
Well, I was frightened.
Well, I'm sure we can all understand that. Just one more question. When did you receive the letter?
December the 8th.
Just 2 days before the fire.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Stacey. I presume you will want to cross-examine Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, Your Honor.
You seem rather tired, Miss Jackson.
Yes.
I think perhaps that would be better left until tomorrow. I propose to adjourn until 10:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Excuse me. I wonder if I might have a word with you.
Is it about the case?
Yes, I've been in the public gallery.
Yes, just a moment. Mr. Sampson.
Well, is this somewhere private?
This is Mr. Elliot's solicitor. It's for him to talk to you. I'm sure you can find somewhere private. Off you go.
Thank you.
The case of the Queen against Elliot will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. John Elliot is accused of burning down a factory belonging to his former employer, Arnold Jackson, as an act of revenge. Arnold Jackson's daughter, Jennifer, who at one time befriended Elliot, has given evidence of his erratic behavior and of a threatening letter he wrote. She's about to be cross-examined.
Miss Jackson, during your evidence yesterday, it was suggested that John Elliot misjudged the nature of the relationship between you. In view of what you've just told the court, would you agree that it was you rather than he who misjudged things?
I didn't mean to.
You might not have meant to. But do you agree that your intentions towards him could have been misunderstood?
Yes, I suppose so.
So that your refusal of his proposal must have hurt him very deeply.
Yes.
And might not that explain, if not excuse, his behavior to you when you turned him down?
Well, maybe, but I was frightened of him. I mean, he looks so quiet, but he's not all the time.
Now, Miss Jackson, may we turn to the letter you read out in court yesterday? When did you receive it? How long after that final parting?
5 days.
So it must have been posted very soon after the evening you ended your relationship with John Elliot, mustn't it?
Yes.
And written when he was still upset.
Yes.
So isn't it likely that the scribbled writing and the sentiments expressed are as likely to be caused by distress as by anger? Do you agree, Miss Jackson?
Yes, I suppose so.
Yes. You've described Mr. Elliot as having rather a childlike personality, haven't you?
Yes.
Like a child, quick to anger,
Yes.
and as quick to cool down. So, a letter written within hours of a painful parting would probably contain sentiments and feelings that would no longer be true a whole week later.
Perhaps, but he wrote it, didn't he? I mean, it does contain threats, doesn't it?
May I remind you of your gold bracelet, Miss Jackson? You told the court that you gave it to John Elliot on the night of your final parting.
Yes.
Did you give it to him entirely voluntarily?
Yes, it was my idea.
There was no threat or coercion on his part?
No, none at all. I wanted to give it to him.
So you freely gave Mr. Elliot a gift that had considerable monetary and sentimental value. Wasn't that a rather odd thing to do to a man if he had, as you said earlier, frightened and hurt you?
Well, it was such a mixture. It was such a mess. I felt sorry for him. That's why, that's all.
Mr. Adams, I believe you are employed as a supervisor at the Fairyland Fun Factory.
I was, yes.
Whilst you were there, were you responsible for the work of John Elliot?
Yes, I was.
What sort of employee was he?
Oh, useless. I don't know why the boss took him on.
Well, in what way was he useless?
He was supposed to be packing. We make made toys that work, models you could wind up, tractors, that kind of thing. But him, instead of packing, he used to play with them. Ran them along the bench like a big kid.
What effect did this have on other people, his fellow employees?
Well, what do you think? At first they laughed, it seemed funny. But when he wouldn't get on, it caused trouble.
What kind of trouble?
With the other blokes. They'd tell him to pack it in and pull his weight, and he didn't like that. He went for one of them once. He had this truck in his hand, and it got this bloke on the forehead. There was blood all over the place. He was lucky he didn't have to have stitches. People like that are like animals.
Your Honour.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Benjamin. Just answer the questions, Mr. Adams.
Were incidents of this kind common?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, he was trouble. Like a bloody firework. Sorry, like a firework. You never knew when he was going to go off next.
Did you report these incidents to Mr. Jackson?
Not usually. It was my responsibility, you see. I was in charge.
Are you telling the court that Mr. Jackson did not know of Elliot's disruptive behaviour?
Oh. No, he knew. That's why he got rid of and dismissed him.
Yes. So did you report it?
Yes, I did. In the end, I did. Not at first, though. That's what I'm saying, not over every little thing. But when it comes to injuring people, when it comes to blood all over the floor, you have to do something then, don't you?
Well, indeed you do, Mr. Adams. And when you did report the incident to Mr. Jackson, what conclusion did he and you come to?
Did he have to go? He'd just have to go, wouldn't he?
So in your view, was it this incident that led to the dismissal of Mr. Elliot?
That and some more.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. In your experience, what kind of employer was Mr. Jackson?
The best.
Do you think the words hard-hearted and cruel could reasonably be applied to Mr. Jackson?
Arnold, hard-hearted and cruel? Never. He was a real soft touch.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Mr. Adams, how long did you say you worked at Jackson's?
Since I left school, 21, no, I tell a lie, 22 years.
Obviously, he was a good employer to you. What kind of employer was he to other people?
Good, if you got on with him.
Which you obviously did, Mr. Adams. So, of course, you owe him a certain loyalty. However, I believe that apart from yourself, the turnover of staff was rather swift.
Who told you that?
So much so that Miss Jennifer Jackson has said she often had to fill a gap when somebody left suddenly.
People came and went, of course.
Why was it that people left suddenly?
Well, there's no accounting for taste, is there?
Might it have been something to do with Mr. Jackson's attributes as an employer?
I don't know what you're getting at.
I must say I don't either. Mr. Benjamin, could you make yourself more plain?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that the defendant was not the only person who was provoked to anger by the conditions at Jackson's, and in a case which depends so much on motive.
Yes, I see. Well, would you take care to stick to that point and not get involved in any more general attacks on Mr. Jackson's character?
Very good, Your Honor. Mr. Adams, have there not been several, indeed one might say many, employees who have left Jackson's with bad feelings after a row?
Well, you always get some awkward types, don't you? It was a fairly menial type of work.
How long did these awkward types usually stay?
How long's a piece of string? Some lasted a week, some 6 months.
And how long did Mr. Elliot last?
10, 11 months.
11 months. Longer than most of these other awkward types, then?
I suppose so.
Indeed, Mr. Adams, I suggest to you that Mr. Elliot was, in fact, rather unusual in that he stayed on for quite some time, despite rather a lot of provocation.
I don't know about that.
Mr. Adams, is it not true that there was a tradition of rather cruel teasing at Fairyland Fun Factory?
No more than most places.
But there was some.
Well, there always is. It's a work, not a nursery school.
And was John Elliot something of a butt for it?
No more than anyone else.
But you yourself have indicated he was. I'm sure the jury will remember your describing how he played with the toys. And in Miss Jackson's own words, she was sorry for him. Look at him now, Mr. Adams. Could you not see how defenseless he was? Was it not your job as his supervisor to defend him? A man at the bottom of the heap, a man desperate to hang on to his job, a man with a history of mental illness.
Well, you have to have a laugh sometimes, don't you?
A laugh, maybe. But I suggest to you, Mr. Adams, that your laugh rapidly became cruel, persistent, and provocative teasing.
Well, he asked for it. He's a loony, daft. He wasn't fit to have a job. He'd have been better left on the scrap heap. I said as much to Arnold.
So, in your view, Mr. Adams, Mr. Elliot did not deserve ordinary human kindness and consideration.
That's right.
Mr. Adams, how many people in all were employed in Jackson's toy factory?
15. No, I tell a lie. 17.
Out of these 17 people, what proportion, how many were there on a regular basis? I mean, how many were permanent employees like yourself?
Oh, dozen at least.
So, by far the biggest majority of employees found Jackson's a satisfactory place to work.
Yes, no question.
And it was your policy, as their supervisor, always to treat them with kindness and consideration?
Yes.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have stayed.
That's right.
That concludes my case, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I do not propose to call the defendant to give evidence.
I see. Do you propose to call any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I propose to call 3 witnesses, the first of which is Miss Helen Marriott. Miss Marriott, I believe you've been employed by Mr. Arnold Jackson.
Ms., if you don't mind.
I beg your pardon?
I'd prefer it if you use the prefix Ms. I always do. Or Helen.
Oh, well, in that case, of course. Ms. Marriott.
That's right, thanks.
Good. Well, will you tell us how long you worked for Mr. Jackson?
2.5 years, more or less.
And did any of that coincide with the time John Elliot was there?
Most of it did. Well, I left just a month before John did.
And you were employed as a secretary to Mr. Jackson?
A personal assistant, more like. I had a lot of responsibility. Paying of bills and invoicing, stock control. And there was all the usual stuff, you know, office wife, making cups of tea and coffee. Sending flowers to his wife when they'd had a row, that sort of stuff.
I believe you were in the public gallery yesterday whilst Mr. Jackson was giving his evidence. Was that just by chance?
No. Well, it's not my idea of a day out coming to court. It's not exactly a battle of laughs, is it?
Indeed, it is not, Miss Marriott, nor is it meant to be. The business of a court of law is a serious business, so keep your flippancy for outside.
And what made you step forward, approach the defense, and offer yourself as a witness?
Well, I wanted to set the record straight after what I'd heard.
In what particular respect?
You name it.
What?
Well, it's difficult to know where to begin, isn't it?
Miss Marriott, may I remind you that you're here to answer questions, not to ask them? And may I remind you, Mr. Benjamin, that it is your task to enable your witness to give her evidence in a coherent way. I presume she has some relevant evidence to give, otherwise you wouldn't have called her.
Of course, Your Honor. Now, Miss Marriott, if we return to the time when you were employed by Mr. Jackson, what was your impression of the trading position of the firm?
It was lousy. It was running down. All that talk about business booming was wishful thinking. You see, the toy industry's like clothes that has fashions. Well, Fairyland hadn't moved with the times. I'd have thought it was jolly glad to get rid.
Your Honour?
Yes, Mrs. Stacey, you're quite right. Please stick to the facts, Miss Marriott. You're not here to give your opinions. You're here as a witness, to give evidence of any matters of fact of which you have direct experience. Do you understand it?
I think you've made it clear.
Very good. Yes, Mr. Benjamin.
So, you're telling the court that despite what Mr. Jackson said about his business thriving, it was, on the contrary, running down.
That's right.
And you had access to the books and were aware of the financial situation?
That's right. Besides, you could see it was in a bad way. The whole place was shabby. There was no maintenance done. There was litter everywhere. I think Arnold had lost interest. I don't think he cared anymore.
Miss Marriott.
Do remember not to give opinions.
Very well. If you want facts, here's one. He hasn't rebuilt, has he?
Mr. Benjamin.
Who hasn't rebuilt?
Arnold Jackson. He hasn't rebuilt his fun factory, has he?
We're getting dangerously near opinions again.
Yes, indeed, Your Honor. Miss Marriott, do be careful. Now, would you like to tell the court something about the relationship between Arnold Jackson and John Elliot?
Oh, could write a book about it.
Just try to give the court a straight answer to a straight question, if you please.
A straight answer. The answer is yes. After John and Jennifer got friendly, Jackson began to take it out on John. He persecuted him in a way.
How did he do that?
Oh, well, he pushed him around. He made unreasonable demands. Everything had to be done quick, and nothing was ever done quickly enough. And he encouraged the other men to laugh at him. Well, in a firm like that, people follow the boss's lead, you know.
And how did Mr. Elliot respond to all that?
Well, very well, considering. He was very patient.
From what you know of him, do you think he's capable of planning and executing the crime of which he's accused?
No, I don't. Well, if you believe that, you believe anything.
Thank you.
Ms. Marriott, how long did you say you worked for Mr. Jackson?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, that's quite a long time, isn't it? Now, would you agree that you have painted a black picture of Mr. Jackson's qualities as an employer?
I've told the truth, how it was. If that's black, then it's black.
Yes. So, how is it, Miss Marriott, that if Mr. Jackson was such a bad employer, how is it that you stayed with him, working so closely with him for so long?
Well, I was only free to leave recently, when Justin went to nursery school full-time.
Justin?
My little boy.
You have a little boy, Miss Marriott?
Yes, I do. That's why I was working at Jackson's. It was the nearest place to where my baby minder lives.
Did Mr. Jackson know of your domestic situation when he took you on, Miss Marriott?
Yes, he did. But Justin was only 2 months old when I started.
And was he sympathetic to it?
I suppose he was. Quite.
I see. So I say again, perhaps he is not so black as you have painted him.
He was all right if you were down. But as soon as you started to get on your feet again, like I did, and like John began to, that was a different story.
Talking of stories, Miss Marriott, another of the pictures you have painted for the jury concerns Mr. Elliot. You described him as being persecuted, I believe was the word, and responding with what sounds like superhuman saintly patience. Is it really true, Miss Marriott? Is it really the case that John Elliot never lost his temper, never once hit back?
Not really. No.
No. But the court has been told of a fracas which included the throwing of a toy truck. He got this bloke on the forehead. There was blood all over the place. Did that take place whilst you were there?
Yes.
So, how does that incident fit in with your character drawing of John Elliot as a man of saintly patience?
But that was with the men. The other men, he'd never have done that with Mr. Jackson. He had a sort of deference, like a child, really.
Oh, so people keep telling us, uncontrollable like a child.
Yes. And no. You're trying to paint this as black and white when what we're really talking about is relationships. It's not the sort of thing you can deal with just in terms of hard facts. You had to be there. You had to know how it was, what the people were like.
As you said, Miss Marriott, yes and no. The court is here to deal in facts, to hear evidence. Is it true that while he worked for Arnold Jackson, John Elliot's behavior was sometimes uncontrolled?
Yes, but I suppose so.
How long have you known John Elliot?
For more than a year now. We are going to be married.
Oh, congratulations.
We are engaged. Now he is happy. When I first met him, he was an unhappy man. That girl, Jackson's daughter, she treated him very badly. She was, I think they say, a tease to him.
Sir.
But I tell him she is no good. I will treat you right. I
Yes.
will take care of you.
Yes. Now, could I draw your attention to the night of the fire, December 10th? Do you remember that night?
Of course I do. That is why I'm here.
Can you tell us what you were doing that night?
Yes, I was at home. Not my home, not my little room that I have now, but in the house where I work as a nanny. Number 8, Acacia Gardens.
Can you be certain of that date?
Oh, yes. My employers, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, were away. They had gone to London for a big dinner, the Christmas party at the head office. So I have to be in with the children, even though it was meant to be my night off.
And you know where Mr. Elliot was that night?
Yes, I do. He was with me. While the cat's away, the mice will play.
Then can you remember? Can I ask you to be very precise, Miss Garcia? Can you remember what time Mr. Elliot came round to see you?
Yes, I can. It was 9 o'clock.
Are you sure of that time?
Oh, yes. I had just finished getting the children to bed. The old one, she go to bed at 8:30. Mrs. Taylor is very particular about the children's bedtime. Mrs. Taylor is a very particular lady.
How long did it take to put the child to bed?
About half an hour. First, she must have her bath. Then she must brush her teeth. Then she must say her prayer and have her story.
Yes. It is a long business.
Yes.
So, at 9 o'clock, the time Mr. Jackson says he saw John Elliot outside his factory, you say he was with you?
Yes.
Yes. Now then, how long did Mr. Elliot stay with you?
For a long time.
How long?
Well, it was all night. You see, Mrs. Taylor was away, and in that house by myself, I'm afraid.
And all the time the fire was being started and was raging, did he leave your side?
No. No, he did not.
Thank you, Miss Garcia. Now we come to the matter of the gold bracelet. May the witness see Exhibit 4. Have you ever seen this bracelet before?
Not like that.
Before it was damaged. Envisage it. Before it was damaged.
It was a bracelet John had. He used to wear it.
Did he tell you where he got it from?
Of course, I asked him. I say, why you wear that? It's not suitable for a man. It was from that girl.
From Miss Jackson?
Yes, her.
Did Mr. Elliot go on wearing the bracelet after he met you?
Oh, no. I say to him, if he kept that, I would not love him. It was her or me. He must choose.
Was he still seeing Miss Jackson?
Of course not. That is not my idea. In my idea, it is one man, one woman. That was after she gave him the push.
But he still had her bracelet.
I tell him, choose. I tell him, send it back.
And did he?
Yes, he did. After he loved me, he do what I ask.
Do you know he sent it back?
Yes, I do. I pack it myself.
Do you know where he sent it back to? Do you know where the parcel was addressed?
Yes, I do that myself, too. I send it to the work, to Mr. Jackson. I do not want him to write to her.
And when was that? How long before the fire?
That was when I first knew him, when I first loved him. It was the last week in November.
Are you sure of that date?
Oh, yes. It was just before Annabelle's birthday.
So, the parcel was packed up and addressed and sent to Mr. Jackson at Fairyland Fun Factory at the end of November. And the fire was on December 10th. Plenty of time for the parcel to have arrived.
Yes.
That will be all, Miss Garcia. That's all I have to ask.
No doubt you wish to cross-examine Mrs. Stacey?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that likely to take long?
Reasonably so, Your Honor.
In that case, I think we should adjourn until tomorrow. Do you understand, Miss Garcia?
No.
We are going to break now, but afterwards I want you to come back in order that the learned counsel, Mrs. Stacey, may ask you some questions about what you have just said.
The case of the Queen against Elliot will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. John Elliot is accused of burning down a factory belonging to his former employer, Arnold Jackson, as an act of revenge. A gold bracelet belonging to Jennifer Jackson that had been in his possession was found at the site of the fire. Dolores Garcia, Elliot's fiancée, has testified that he was with her at the time the fire started and that she personally parceled up the bracelet to send it back to Arnold Jackson.
You have agreed with my learned friend that the parcel containing the bracelet was packed up, addressed, and sent to Mr. Jackson at the Fairyland Fun Factory. You agreed to that, didn't you?
Yes, I say so.
You agreed that it was correct.
Yes, it was.
Was it, Miss Garcia? Are you sure of that?
Yes, of course I'm sure. I did it myself.
You did it yourself. You packed it, you said?
Yes.
You addressed it, you've told us?
Yes.
But did you also post it? Well, Miss Garcia.
I did not post it. But I gave it to John. He was going out. He was going to the shops. He wanted to go on his own.
So you did not see him post it?
No, I did not.
And therefore you do not know that he did?
No, but he always did what I said.
Did he? Now, if we may return to the night of the fire, the night of December the 10th, you have described yourself as putting your young charge to bed. I believe that was the yardstick by which you established to your own satisfaction the time of Mr. Elliot's arrival at your employer's house.
He came when Annabelle had gone to bed.
Yes, indeed. What I'm wondering is, was Annabelle's bedtime and the time surrounding it quite as precise as you have suggested.
What?
I think she's asking if Annabel went to bed at precisely 8:30, and if the toothbrushing and prayers and so on did last precisely half an hour.
It's more or less.
How old is Annabel?
She is 8.
8-year-olds are not always obedient, are they?
No.
And you have said that the children were difficult.
Sometimes.
Was Annabel difficult on this particular evening? Did she brush her teeth quickly, or did she dawdle?
It's not so exact.
No, children rarely are. And with so many tasks to perform, it would be easy for them to take longer than half an hour, wouldn't it? And you see, it is so important to be precise about the time.
Mrs. Taylor was always very particular about the children's bedtime.
Yes, indeed, but Mrs. Taylor was away.
Yes.
And as you have said, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
I wish to affirm. I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are David Turner, and I believe you're the warden of the hostel in which John Elliot lives. Could you tell the court what kind of hostel that is?
With pleasure. It's a sheltered home for ex-psychiatric patients. Patients who've been a long time in hospital find the outside world rather frightening at first. If any of you have been ill for any length of time, you probably know the feeling. So in the hostel, we try to provide a halfway house.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Turner. I think that makes it fairly clear. How long has Mr. Elliot been resident in the hostel?
For about 2 years now. He came to us straight from hospital. We were hoping he would have moved on by now. We tried to get people to move on, but of course all this has set him back so much.
And how many other people live there?
8 in all. It's an old Victorian house. Each of them has their own room.
Mr. Benjamin, we're hearing rather a lot about life at the sheltered hostel. Is all this necessary to the presentation of your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you explain to me in what way?
Well, Your Honor, the defendant has been presented to the court as a man whose behavior is erratic and uncontrolled, the kind of person who might indeed cause dreadful damage as an act of revenge. It is the contention of the defense that he is not at all that kind of person.
I see. So Mr. Turner has been called to give evidence as to the character of the defendant.
In part, Your Honor, yes.
Very well. I accept that, so long as you keep it within reasonable bounds.
I'm most obliged to Your Honor. Now, Mr. Turner, would you be so kind as to tell the court how Mr. Elliot gets on with his fellow residents in your hostel?
Oh, very well. In fact, he's quite a tower of strength to me.
Did you know John Elliot during the time he was working at Fun Factory?
Yes, I did. Like I said, he came to us straight from hospital, so I saw him all through the time he was looking for work. It's part of my job to try and help the men to reintegrate themselves into the community.
Did John Elliot have difficulty in getting a job?
Oh, yes. He must have tried 50 times.
So how did he react when he finally got one?
Oh, he's delighted. Over the moon, as they say. The fact is, I think he got the job because he was willing to take less than the going rate of pay. It's exploitation, really.
What was Mr. Elliot's attitude to the job when he got it?
Oh, keen, very keen. First week, he got up so early to get ready, there were complaints from the other residents about being woken up.
How did Mr. Elliot react when he lost the job?
Oh, it was terrible. Quite devastating for him.
Was he angry? Did you ever hear him threaten revenge?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be in character. People like John tend to blame themselves for everything. He turned his anger in on himself.
In what way?
Oh, depression and an obsessional rehashing of what he might have done wrong. He made an attempt on his arms one night.
An attempt on his arms? Do you mean he tried to kill himself?
No, nothing as definite as that. Self-mutilation, a few deep cuts. A lot of people who feel helpless and powerless and bad do that, turn against themselves. Women in prison, for example.
Did you know that Mr. Elliot continued to go to the factory after he'd been dismissed?
Oh, yes. He was desperate. I mean, do you realize what that job meant to him? It meant normality. It meant he was part of the world.
Yes, yes. I think we understand that.
And John had been an outsider all his life. He was a neglected child, going to school smelly and dirty, a butt for other children. And when his behavior became odd, he was labeled mad, a loony, put into a lunatic asylum. Whilst he had the job, he left all that behind. Whilst he had a job, he was normal. I mean, is it any wonder he asked for it back?
So, in your view, the fact that he hung about outside the factory after he'd been dismissed did not indicate that he was seeking revenge?
Your Honour, surely my learned friend is asking for an opinion. from the
Just
witness.
so, Mrs. Stacey. That really will not do, Mr. Benjamin. Please confine your questions to evidence concerning the behaviour and movements of Mr. Elliot during the material period. I really cannot allow any more questions that encourage the witness to speculate, or indeed any that lead into areas that are not relevant to this case.
Very good, Your Honour. Mr. Turner, were you on duty at the hostel on the night of December 10th?
Yes, I was.
Did you see Mr. Elliot on the evening of that day?
Yes, he was at supper with the rest of the residents, then he stayed to wash up, and afterwards he went out.
And what time was that?
Well, supper's a bit of a movable feast, really. You see, they do their own cooking.
Could you tell the court what time it was when he went out?
Well, I can't say to the minute, but it was gone 8 o'clock, well gone. Easily 1:15, I'd say. He stayed until the washing up was finished. It was his turn on the rota.
And how far is it from the hostel to Acacia Gardens?
Oh, quite a way. Easily half an hour's walk, easily.
Just one last question. Mr. Turner, did you notice anything at all odd or unusual about Mr. Elliot's manner or behavior that evening?
No, nothing at all. He was just as normal.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. That will be all.
Mr. Benjamin.
Are you all right, Mr. Elliot?
I want to say something.
You mean you want to go into the witness box?
I want to stand up like David. I told him that I wouldn't. I was scared. But now I want to.
Yes, indeed. That is your right. But before you do that, you will need to talk to your barrister. I will arrange an adjournment so that you may do so. But before you do, I think it would be best if Mr. Turner could finish his evidence first, don't you?
David? Oh, yeah.
And after that, we'll have a short break and you can talk to Mr. Benjamin.
All right.
Good. Would you like to cross-examine, Mrs. Stacey?
Thank you, Your Honour. Mr. Turner, how long have you been a warden?
3 years now, ever since the hostel opened.
Have you been a warden before?
No, it's my first post of this kind. But I'm not inexperienced with the mentally ill. I've been a PSW for 7 years.
PSW?
Psychiatric social worker. That means
I think that will not be necessary, Mr. Turner. I'm sure the court accepts the fact that you're qualified.
I would like to ask you a little more about Mr. Elliot's behaviour after he lost his job.
Yes.
On the one hand, you have presented him as a gentle character, someone who wouldn't say boo to a goose. Then on the other, you refer to him as turning his anger in on himself, peaceful and angry, something of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, maybe?
Well, not angry. Angry? He was never angry like that. I wasn't using it in the ordinary layman sense. It's a technical word. He cut his own wrists, he burnt his own photographs, that's all.
Photographs? You say that he burnt some photographs?
Well, destroyed them.
You said he burnt them.
Well, like people do. He had a little fire in his room. He wanted to get rid of them.
What form did this little fire take? I mean, where exactly did he have it?
Well, in his room.
Yes, but whereabouts in his room? I mean, where exactly? Did he have it on the floor, on the bed? Or did it perhaps encompass the whole room?
No, of course not. I said a little fire, didn't I? He did no more than you or I would have done if we'd had something we wanted to burn. If he'd had a fire, I dare say he would have thrown them on the fire. But as he hadn't, he did the next best thing and burnt them in the waste paper basket.
In the waste paper basket? But wasn't that rather a dangerous thing to do?
Well, it was silly, that's all. I mean, it wasn't done with the intent of being dangerous. People like John don't always see the consequences of their actions.
I'm sure we all understand that, Mr. Turner. Now, what was the subject of the photographs that Mr. Elliot attempted to burn?
They were pictures of himself.
Only himself?
No, they were pictures of him and Jennifer Jackson.
I see.
Your Honour, I have no further witnesses except for the defendant if he now wishes to appear. Would it be possible to have a short adjournment in order to take further instruction?
Of course, Mr. Benjamin. How long would you suggest?
About 20 minutes, Your Honor.
Very well. Of course, if that should turn out to be insufficient.
Of course, Your Honor.
All stand.
Your Honor, I've received new instructions. The defendant had previously decided, on advice from his doctor, not to go into the witness box, on the grounds that would be too stressful. However, during the course of the trial, he has changed his mind, and I would now like to introduce him as a witness.
I swear by Almighty God, the evidence I give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Now then, Mr. Elliot, I believe you would like to tell the court about what happened after you left Mr. Jackson's factory.
I didn't do it.
No. I believe Mr. Jackson called you into his office.
I loved her, you see, and she loved me, but he didn't like that.
Are you speaking of Miss Jennifer Jackson?
Jenny, yeah. I called her Jenny. My little Jenny Wren.
This was during the period of your friendship?
Yeah. I said I'd look after her. She wasn't very happy.
You looked after her, but wasn't she looking after you?
Well, we looked after each other. It was a mutual help society.
When you left Mr. Jackson, when he called you into his office to tell you that he didn't require your services, that you were sacked, can you remember what it was that you said?
Oh, yeah. I said, you'll be sorry for this. I'll make you suffer as I am suffering.
Did you mean to threaten him?
Yeah, but I didn't do it. It was like sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones?
And sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. It was just words, you see.
Oh, I see. The words weren't meant to hurt. Is that what you mean?
Well, they were meant to, yeah. But they don't.
And sticks and stones would?
Yeah.
Would you use sticks and stones?
Oh, no. No. I wouldn't hurt a fly.
Did you cause the fire at Jackson's factory?
No. No, that's what I've come to say. That's what I wouldn't do.
No. Quite. Good. Now, may we come to the night of the fire?
See, I was unhappy when I said it, but after that I met Dolores, and now I'm not unhappy.
The night of the fire, December 10th.
So they can't lock me up? Because
Yes,
it wouldn't
now,
be fair.
December 10th.
Mr. Elliot?
Yeah?
Did you hear the question that learned counsel, that Mr. Benjamin put to you?
About December the 10th?
That's right.
That was the night I was with Dolores, wasn't it?
That will be all.
Oh, one moment, Mr. Elliot. I think Mrs. Stacey, that lady, would like to ask you some questions. As you've elected to give evidence, that is her right.
Oh.
Mr. Elliot, will you look at the bracelet? Is that the bracelet that Miss Jackson gave you?
Yeah.
You were very attached to it, were you not?
Yeah. She gave it to me. It was a memento.
It was it not Miss Garcia who was anxious that you should return the bracelet?
Yes.
Whereas you yourself wanted to keep it?
Yes.
But you were very much influenced by Miss Garcia, were you not?
Well, she is my girlfriend.
So you went along with what she wanted. You let her pack it up. You even let her address it.
Yes.
What you didn't do was let her post it. Why was that, Mr. Elliot?
I don't know. I didn't want to bother her.
You didn't want to bother her? You didn't want to bother her, but she'd already gone to quite a lot of bother, hadn't she? She'd got a box, brown paper, sticky tape, string. From my experience of wrapping parcels, that is quite a lot of bother, not to mention that she'd already addressed it. I should have thought that to put it in the post would have been relatively little bother. Why, then, did you not let her do it?
I was going anyway.
Mr. Elliot, do you have any record of posting the bracelet? Any receipt from the post office?
No,
You didn't register the package.
no.
I see. It was quite a valuable bracelet, was it not? Solid gold?
Yeah, I suppose so.
In that case, knowing that it was gold, knowing that it was valuable, why did it not occur to you to send it by registered post?
I didn't think.
You didn't think? Is that all, Mr. Elliot? The thing is, if it had been sent by registered post, there would be some record, would there not, of posting?
Oh, yes.
As it is, there isn't, is there?
No.
No. And I should like to suggest a reason for that. I suggest that the real reason that there is no receipt is that you did not, in fact, post that parcel. You were indeed sentimentally attached to that bracelet, so attached that despite quite a lot of pressure from your new lady friend, you couldn't, in fact, bear to part with it, and that's why you insisted on going by yourself. Of course, you could no longer wear the bracelet. You had to hide it, didn't you? In an inside pocket where it fell out when you got the matches to light the fire?
Right. I don't know.
Your Honor, this isn't a cross-examination, it's bullying. I must protest that these unsubstantiated allegations, my learned friend has asked a whole lot of questions without allowing Mr. Elliot any chance to reply.
Mr. Benjamin is quite right. I think you've been carried away by your own rhetoric, Mrs. Stacey. You must allow the defendant to answer the questions.
I do apologize, Your Honor.
Nevertheless, they are valid questions. Could you rephrase them in a more moderate way?
Certainly, Your Honor. Mr. Elliot, why did you want to go off on your own the day you had the parcel?
I like going to the post office. They have stamps. I like stamps.
Oh. And did you go to the post office?
Yeah. That's where you go with parcels, isn't it?
Did you go to the post office that day?
Yeah. I went straight there.
And did you, think carefully, Mr. Elliot, did you in fact post the bracelet?
She said I had to. Yes, I did.
I see.
Mr. Benjamin? You may leave the witness box.
Is that all?
That's all. We've heard all the evidence, and you've had your opportunity to say what you wanted to say. Now we shall have the closing speeches, and then the members of the jury will retire to consider their verdict.
They won't send me to prison, will they?
Well, that's not a matter for the jury. They're here to listen to the evidence and consider whether or no they think you committed the crime of which you're accused. What happens to you after that, if they find you guilty, is up to me.
But and it was his fault. He shouldn't have given me the sack.
Arnold Jackson is a man who has suffered a great loss. He came into court as a witness to give evidence of what he knew so that justice might be done. But as a result, various attacks have been made on his character by the defense. Are these smears based on fact? Or do they arise from a desperate attempt by the defense to present Arnold Jackson in a bad light, in the hope that by so doing, they may put up a smokescreen to take away attention from where the guilt properly lies, with John Elliot?
My learned friend has suggested that I would appeal for your sympathy on behalf of my client. I do not think I need to do that. He has spoken for himself. He is, as has been said, one of those unfortunates who are natural scapegoats. Scapegoats are people who carry the blame for crimes they did not commit. Members of the jury, this matter is now in your hands. I ask you not to let John Elliot be a scapegoat again.
Do not be influenced by the fact that John Elliot initially elected not to appear in the witness box. It is the right of any defendant not to speak if he so chooses, and if he chooses not to, that in no way indicates guilt or innocence. Weigh only the evidence that has been presented to you in this court. And now, will you please retire and consider your verdict?
The defendant will stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Please answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, John Elliot, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
John Elliot, you are free to go.
Next week, you can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a further case from the Crown Court.